Under my strategy working with states, we will ban urban camping.
Homelessness. You're going to ban homelessness. But I love that you're presenting it like they're just out on a nice weekend, away from the office and stresses of modern life.
Wherever possible. Violators of these bans will be arrested, but they will be given the option to accept treatment.
Kidnapping. You're going to kidnap them.
And services if they're willing to be rehabilitated.
Repurposed for government consumption.
Many of them don't want that.
Are you suggesting people enjoy being homeless?
We'll give them the option. We will then open up large parcels of inexpensive land, bring in doctors, psychiatrists, social workers, and drug rehab specialists, and create 10 cities where the homeless can be relocated and their problems identified.
That's a prison camp.
But we'll open up our cities again, make them livable and make them beautiful.
So that rich people won't have to be faced with the horrors of modern capitalism.
For those who are just temporarily down on their luck, we will work to help them quickly reintegrate into a normal life.
You just have to pass through the prison camp system first. I can't help but wonder if the color of one's skin will play any role in how quickly they're processed and released, if at all.
For those who have addictions, substance abuse, and common mental health problems, we will get them into treatment. And for those who are severely mentally ill and deeply disturbed, we will bring them back to mental institutions where they belong.
Call me crazy, but I have a sneaking suspicion that once these people are folded into the prison camp system, they're never going to be heard from again. Just like with all these immigrants we're rounding up. They're never going to be heard from again. We're not going to send them back to Mexico. We have a multi-billion-dollar prison industrial complex. An industry worth billions per year that requires more slave labor. So once we round up all these immigrants, why would we ever send them back? We can just put them to work for free. We're never going to hear from these people ever again.
Revelation 2:10, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Shalom, this is your brother Yonathan. Right, first and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKadosh. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught us the truth and rule well. I want to say shalom to all the brothers and, of course, the few sisters who are pursuing this truth in sincerity. May the blessing of election be upon your house. All right? Let's read this one more time. Revelation 2:10. Trump wants to be able to justify arresting urban campers. And it's not just going to be, confined to people who are so-called homeless. He talked about people being mentally deranged. And this devil has alluded to the fact that, being anti-Semitic or speaking against the so-called JOO, the people in the Holy Land masquerading as the bloodline descendants of Jacob, that attitude, that way of thinking can be categorized as being mentally ill. So, it's going to be used as justification to hem up people like the prophets, hem up the elect, ultimately. All right, this is Revelation 2:10 again. It says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. And what he was talking about is basically a prison, like the guy said in the short. That ye may be tried. In Sirach 2, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. You're going to be put through a test, various tests. And, these rehabilitation centers that he's talking about, it might be a test for many of the believers. That ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou, and 10 days is just talking about a complete amount of time, not a literal 10 days. Be thou faithful until death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So these are the kind of tests that the believers are going to be put through. You got to ask yourself, when you read this and you're seeing it becoming a reality, are you in a place in the spirit to endure something like that? To be completely cut off from all your loved ones, your friends, your brothers, your sisters, you know, people that you are fond of. Are you in a place to be cut off from all of them? And thrown in a cell and patrolled by Esau? Are you not? The Lord gonna give you the strength to endure whatever test that He lays before you. But you got to be asking yourself, am I taking the steps towards the Lord to be opened up to that strength that He's gonna need to give me? I remember when we first came into the truth. Well, when I first came into the truth, and brothers were putting up all those clips of, look at all these coffins, these tens and thousands, all these black plastic coffins, big.
Not too long ago, I talked with Dale Bohannon, whom I've known since, I guess, the mid-1980s. And he told me something very interesting that he found back in the fall of 2000 while he was on a business trip. Listen to this, folks.
I was pulled to the side road, which was a new cut gravel dirt road in front of a business, a builder supply business, actually top-notch builder supply in Madison, Georgia. To my right, this was previously was a soybean field, and this little new cut road divided this field, and the right side of the road was filled with which I thought was portable toilets. I never looked at them that close. Same in color, maybe black, but which was an odd color. And I was sitting there going over my notes, and a van pulled alongside of me that turned out to be the property owner. And he greeted me, and he was by himself, and so we had a good little dialogue there, and I asked him about the field of black boxes. What were they? Because I'd never seen anything like that, and his statement was that if he told me, I would be one of few people in Madison, Georgia that knew about them. And he says they're disposable coffins, I believe he told me. And he says there's 100, at that time he said there was 125,000 there. And they were stacked, he told me 15 high. I asked him who owned them, and he stated that the CDC owned them and that they were leasing his land for storage. And he said his brother worked with the CDC in Atlanta and had been asked by the CDC to do a 3-year extension to place temporary morgues all across the nation.
So in January of this year, 2005, we decided to drive to beautiful Madison, Georgia and take a look for ourselves. It was on a Sunday and no one was around, with the exception of this one pickup truck that was coming out the narrow road that we were going in on.
That can fit multiple bodies in them. Look at all these coffins that are being shipped all across, the U.S. And look at all these FEMA camp locations that they're building up. Dozens and dozens, and all across the country, of camps that were being built, warehouses and Walmarts that were being converted they were being situated so that they could easily be converted into a holding center, into a rehabilitation center. So, this devil, everything that he's doing now, this isn't something that's done on a whim. All these things have been in the works for a long time coming. All right, and the scriptures warn us of these things. All right, so we got to go through it to get to it. Now, not going to be enduring these kind of things for no reason. Okay? Like I told you here, you're going to receive a crown of life for that kind of endurance. All right, James 1:12, it says, "Blessed is the man that endureth temptation," the testing. "For when he is tried, he shall receive a crown of life, which the Lord hath promised them that love him." And if you love the Lord, you're going to resist, okay? You're going to resist the wiles of the devil. We talked about, those people being released from those rehabilitation camps. What do you think to be, introduced back to society? What do you think people are going to have to be down with? They're going to have to receive that biometric device, that charagma, that mark, that RFID chip, one way or the other. This disapproved us that you're ready to be reintegrated back into society. That's the play they're going to come with, especially for those, all right, who are so-called undesirables, especially for those who are, deemed enemies of the state. You know what I mean? It's just, they could get to the point where they just picking up any old body. You don't got to be somebody that's urbanly camping. It could be brothers that camp one day, and they just run down on them. Well, you guys are, let me see some ID, and snatch you up. You know what I mean? It's definitely going to get real greasy in the days to come. So, prepared in the mind and in the spirit, man, to endure whatever the test the Lord sanctions for you to go through. And I say that on purpose so you can realize that whatever you do go through, the Lord is sanctioning that test. And if He's sanctioning it, man, He's the one in control, and you got to be calling and praying to Him and be locked in on the Lord and what He desires from you. You'll have the strength to get through whatever test you put through. Okay, so Abaratazah, man, the lesson was edifying. Just wanted to share that clip with you all. I want to give all praises once more to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakah HaKadosh. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. I want to say shalom to all the brothers and, of course, the few sisters who are pursuing this truth and sincerity. Right? May the blessing of election be upon your house. Shalom.